Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to the science class. We'll be starting with our new chapter, and that is states of matter. Before we start our lesson, look around your room for a moment. You will see many different things, like you will find a book, a bottle, a chair, a pencil, a pen, etc. All these things look different, feel different, but they are all made of the same thing, and that thing we call as matter. Today, we are going to learn what matter really is, what it is made of, and how it exists in different forms. Now, let's start with the matter. What matter is? Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. The amount of space that an object occupies, we call that as a volume. Mass means how much matter something has. If an object feels heavier than another, then we can say that it has more mass. Matter is made up of very tiny particles called as molecules. The space between two molecules is called as intermolecular space, and two molecules are held together by a force that we call as intermolecular force. Matter exists in three states: solids, liquids, and gases. A substance can exist in different states because of the differences in the arrangement of the molecules. See the molecular arrangement in case of solids. There the molecules are tightly packed because the force of attraction, that is the intermolecular force, in case of solids is strong. Talking about the intermolecular space, that is space between the molecules, that is almost negligible. ना होने के बराबर intermolecular space इनमें होती है. Because of this tight arrangement of molecules, there is very little movement of these molecules, and this tight arrangement of molecules gives solids a definite, means a fixed shape and a fixed volume. For example, we have ice, pen, table, chair, etc. Now let's talk about the second state of matter, that is liquids. In case of liquids, the molecules are loosely packed because the intermolecular force of attraction is less as compared to that in solids. Talking of the intermolecular space, as you can see from the diagram, the intermolecular space is more than that in solids. Therefore, these molecules move around and can slide over each other. Because of this molecular arrangement, liquids do not have a definite shape, but they have a definite volume. Liquids take up the shape of the container in which they are kept. However, their volume remains fixed. This means the amount of liquid stays the same no matter आप किस container में उसको डाल रहे हो. For example, if you are having 100 milliliter of water, अगर आप ये water किसी भी container में डालोगे, दो इसकी shape जो है वो change होगी, but ये still 100 milliliter ही रहेगा. Coming to third state of matter, that is gases. If we talk about the molecular arrangement in case of gases, the molecules are much more apart from each other. The force of attraction between the molecules is very weak, and there is lots of intermolecular space between the molecules. These molecules can move around freely in any direction and cannot be kept in an open container. That is why gases do not have a fixed shape nor a fixed volume. Next topic we have is change of state. Matter can change from one state to another state when it is heated or cooled. For example, जब हम लोग पानी को heat करते हैं, it changes to water vapor, which is a gas, and when we cool it, it changes to ice, which is a solid. There are four main processes by which matter can be converted from one form to another form. First one we have melting, then evaporation, condensation, and freezing. We'll be talking about each one of them in detail. Melting. It is a process by which a solid changes into a liquid on heating. What happens is when heated, this solid, the molecules that are present in it, these molecules gain energy and the intermolecular force जो इनमें होता है that becomes weak and these molecules start moving away from each other and get converted to a liquid. Since particles need more space as they are moving, जो वो move कर रहे होते हैं उनको ज़्यादा space चाहिए होती है and this increases the volume. This increase in volume of a substance on heating is called expansion. Now we have evaporation. Evaporation, it is the process by which a liquid turns into a gas on heating. When heat is supplied to any liquid, जो उसकी molecules है, they gain energy and start moving away from each other. एंड जो इसमें इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्स होता है मॉलिक्यूल्स के बीच में दैट बिकम्स वीकर एंड दिस लिक्विड गेट्स कन्वर्टेड टू अ गैस. Here again, as these molecules are moving, they need extra space to move, and this again here leads to expansion. So we can say that heating leads to expansion, be that heating a solid or heating a liquid. The third process we have is condensation. It is the process by which a gas gets converted into a liquid on cooling. For example, the water vapors that are present in the atmosphere, when they come in contact with the cold surface, this water vapor gets converted to water. So what happens is when these gas molecules are cooled down, the molecules lose their energy and the intermolecular force of attraction between them increases. As a result, molecules come closer to each other and the volume decreases. This is called as contraction. This is the opposite of heating. As you have seen there, जब हमने एक substance को heat किया, be that in evaporation or be that in melting, जो particles है उन्होंने gain की energy, whereas in condensation, particles ने energy lose की. Talking of the intermolecular force, जब हमने एक substance को heat दी, तो intermolecular force of attraction decrease हुआ, whereas in condensation, the intermolecular force of attraction increases. And that heating leads to expansion and cooling leads to contraction. Freezing. It is the process by which a liquid gets converted into a solid on cooling. When cooled down, the liquid molecules lose energy and the intermolecular force of attraction between the molecules increases. As a result of this, these molecules come closer to each other and the volume decreases. This leads to contraction. Our last topic is changes in our surroundings. Many changes take place in our surroundings like evaporation, condensation, burning of paper, cooking of food, etc. All these changes can be grouped into two main types. Number one, physical changes, and number second, chemical changes. Now let's start with physical changes. Those changes in which no new substance is formed, we call such changes as physical changes. For example, when ice melts, water is formed, and when water freezes, ice is formed. Here, we can get back the original substance. In these changes, only the shape, size, or state of an object changes. Now, talking about chemical changes. Here, new substance is formed. Example, when we burn paper or wood, it changes into ash, which is an entirely different substance. Here, we cannot get back the original substance. Similarly, cooking of food is also a chemical change because here, entirely new substance is formed. We have one more topic, and that is dissolving solids in water. There are two types of substances based on whether they dissolve or mix with water or not. First one is soluble substances and the second one is insoluble substances. Soluble substances. These are those substances that dissolve or mix with water. For example, we have sugar. When we put the sugar in water, it dissolves or mixes with the water. Therefore, this is a soluble substance. Similarly, salt is also a soluble substance because it dissolves in water or it mixes with the water completely. Now we have insoluble substances. These are those substances that do not dissolve in water. For example, we have sand. When we put the sand in water, this sand doesn't dissolve in water or it doesn't mix with the water. Rather, it settles down. Therefore, this sand is an insoluble substance. Similarly, mud, chalk, etc. These are also insoluble substances because these do not dissolve or mix with the water. Look at the picture. Here we are dissolving sugar in water. This sugar we call as a solute. In general, any substance that dissolves in a liquid, we call such substance as a solute. On the other hand, the liquid in which this solute is added, we call this liquid as a solvent. Here we are adding sugar, that is the solute, we are adding it to water. Therefore, this water here becomes the solvent. And we call this solute plus solvent as a solution. Since here we have added sugar in water, therefore we'll be getting a sugar solution. Thank you so much for watching this video. Assalamu alaikum.